trans. I see you. Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights.
Former University of Kentucky swimmer Riley Gaines was ambushed by trans activists after delivering a speech on saving women's sports at San Francisco State University. She's a 12-time NCAA All-American swimmer, and she swam against Leah Thomas. Riley was on the phone with her husband, Louis Barker, while she was barricaded. They both join us now. Welcome to both of you. Riley, I'll start with you. Why were you barricaded, and what happened to the people who assaulted you?
Well, first of all, nothing has happened to the people who assaulted me. The campus police did nothing. The dean of students was there and did nothing. There will be no repercussions unless I have something to do with it. I will be pursuing legal action. These people need to face repercussions. And I was barricaded because after my speech, an ambush of people entered into the classroom, turned off the lights, they attacked me. I got escorted out of the room and immediately pushed into that room that we saw on the video, and I was trapped in there for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's just it's unbelievable what happened to you, and even more unbelievable the aftermath and how these people are getting away with it. We're having a discussion about biology and biological things here. I think about you, Louis, and you are a man, a husband to her, and I'm sure it was just killing you that you couldn't protect your wife throughout this. What's your reaction?
You know, it makes you sad, it makes you mad, makes you frustrated, and you feel helpless. You know, being on the phone, listening to what sounded like, it sounded like a zoo outside. People were banging on the doors, To say that it makes you, I was shaking that I was that upset, that I was that angry, that helpless. And, it's one of the two most important women in your life. And you can't do anything, I called San Francisco police. They said it's a campus issue. We can't help you. I called the San Francisco the campus police. They said, after 40 minutes of her being locked up in this room, the dispatch lady had absolutely no idea what I was talking about. So, it's just, it's upsetting.
And it's a pattern. This happened at another university with pro-life. A pro-life speech was given, and they, hauled out the pro-lifers instead of the people who were disrupting an event and shutting down free speech. Riley, as I see that video, one of the things that strikes me is I see this level of anger from these trans activists that I can't really put my finger on where it's coming from. It almost feels like it's coming from pain as well. I'm sure you've thought about it. Where is all this anger coming from? Why are they so mad at you for standing up for women's sports and biological women and their rights to spaces?
Truthfully, I think these people resort to anger both verbally and physically and violence because they know they don't have reason on their side. They cannot debate me with logic or science or any kind of data that supports their argument. So they resort to personal attacks. They resort to calling me names like transphobe, which truly has no meaning anymore. That word has been devalued. If it makes me transphobic to say that men and women are different when it comes to something that requires strength, that's insane. And so they resort to locking me in a room and terrorizing me and my family and these officers for 3 hours.
Yeah. Louis, your brave wife, who is amazing, who we all admire so much, has said in other interviews that she is determined, that she will not be silenced, that these kinds of attacks will force her, will encourage her to continue in this battle. You see what the repercussions are. How do you feel about that?
That's what you love about her. That's what everybody loves about her. Everybody in the country. She's so strong. This is poured gasoline on the fire. Like she said last night, this is going to make her scream even louder. She's going to make more noise. She's going to keep fighting harder. They've given her more drive than she had before, which, as her husband, I didn't know that there was any more for her to give, but she found it, that's for sure.
Well, she's a tough woman. Riley, you are the new face of feminism. Move over Gloria Steinem. They never stood up for Muslim women in the Middle East, and they're not standing up for our gender here. I hope that more women I include myself, will join you in this fight. It's sad to see how alone you've been, but I think the moment has come, and it's time to fight back for our gender. Thank you so much for both of you, and for your fight and for your courage.